Welcome everyone to a new series I'm doing called Film Formula. Today we're diving deep into the classic horror film Scream from 1996, but with a twist. We'll be analyzing it through the lens of story structure, specifically Blake Snyder's famous Save the Cat beat sheet. Now, if you're not familiar, story structure is like the skeletal system of any good narrative. It's what guides the characters and keeps the story moving in a way that feels satisfying, even when it's terrifying. Save the Cat breaks a script down into 15 key beats, moments that are present in most successful films today. I'm creating this series to show how these classic structures are everywhere, even in films like Scream, which teases the very idea of structure.
Because obviously they don't watch enough movies. This is standard horror movie stuff.
So whether you're a filmmaker, a writer, or simply love a good story, you'll see how Scream keeps us hooked even as it subverts the rules. Let's get started. Beat 1. The opening image. The first beat sets the tone right away. In Scream, we meet Casey Becker, home alone, answering what seems like an innocent phone call. But things quickly turn deadly, showing us exactly what kind of movie we're in for. A horror film where danger hides in the mundane. Pay attention, because the opening image often has a connection to the final one. Beat 2. Theme stated. Next up is theme stated, where the film subtly drops the story's thematic lesson. Between pages 3 and 13, Scream introduces its meta-commentary on horror films.
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
This movie celebrates the genre, but it's important to remember that it also mocks it openly while taking it apart. Here we're introduced to a world where characters openly talk about the rules of scary movies, setting the stage for what's to come.
Who's there?
You should never say who's there. Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish.
The setup follows. We meet Sydney, our protagonist, and her boyfriend Billy. Billy's a little too pushy right out the gate, and that makes us suspicious. We also meet Sydney's friends and learn about the dark past surrounding her mother's murder. This is where we see what the characters want, their flaws, and also what's at stake. Beat 4. Catalyst. The catalyst is the inciting incident that sets the story in motion. Sydney and her friends learn about Casey's brutal murder. This is what disrupts Sydney's world and pushes her into the central conflict of the story. Beat 5. Debate. Before the protagonist can fully commit to the journey, we have the debate beat, where they hesitate. For Sydney, this is an inner conflict. Fear and paranoia start creeping in.
Were discovered late last night by the girl's parents.
The Woodsboro double murder case.
Mother was found raped and murdered not far from.
She's forced to confront her unease, but in Scream, the decision is made for her when Ghostface attacks in her own home. That brings us to Beat 6. Break into Act 2. Ghostface's attack plunges Sydney into a terrifying new reality. She's no longer just grieving her mother, now she's fighting for her life. Beat 7. B story. Here's where the B story comes in. Around page 34, we see how characters like Gail, Billy, and Dewey fit into Sydney's journey. Billy drops the phone, deepening our distrust, and Gail's persistence adds tension. The B story often holds the key to the protagonist's final growth. Next is fun and games, the part of the story that delivers what the audience came to see. In Scream, this section is packed with scares, kills, and the iconic house party scene where the film's commentary on horror reaches its peak.
And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back!
There's also growing suspicion of Billy, heightening the tension. Beat 9. Midpoint. Sydney and Billy sleep together, marking a shift in Sydney's perspective, while Dewey and Gail find a car, putting a time clock on the danger. Midpoint raises the stakes. Beat 10. Bad guys close in. As the bad guys close in, the body count rises. Ghostface is picking off victims, and Sidney's trust is shattered. Nobody is safe, and paranoia completely takes over. Beat 11. All is lost. The all is lost moment is the ultimate low point. Stu and Billy reveal themselves as the killers, and Sidney realizes her father is being held hostage.
His body will come popping up in the last reel somewhere.
She's utterly alone, and it seems like all hope is lost. This leads to Beat 12, Dark Night of the Soul. This is where the protagonist reflects on their situation. For Sidney, this happens when Billy and Stu lay out the rules of scary movies.
Now you gotta die. Those are the rules.
Our theme of meta commentary coming full circle. Sidney now has everything she needs. This is the moment where she finds the strength to fight back. With this new perspective, we break into Act 3, Beat 13. Now the fight is personal. Sidney must confront her betrayers head on. Beat 14, Finale. The finale is the showdown we've been building to. Sidney has everything she needs to defeat Billy and Stu, and in a brilliant twist, she flips the script, donning the ghost face mask and taking out Billy. She's no longer the helpless victim, but the hero who has taken control. Finally, we reach Beat 15, the final image. Gale is reporting, and the police are wrapping up the case. As the sun rises, the nightmare is over. The calm after the storm mirrors the unsettling quiet of the opening image, but this time, Sidney has survived. As you can see, Scream masterfully follows Blake Snyder's Save the Cat beat sheet, blending horror and satire with precision. It's this balance of structure and innovation that makes Scream a timeless classic. Thanks for watching, and if you want more breakdowns like this, don't forget to subscribe.